Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving headfirst into one of the most, well, enduring and just baffling mysteries out there. Crop circles.
Hmm.
You've seen the images, right? These massive, unbelievably precise geometric shapes that just materialize in fields, often overnight.
And the sources we're looking at, they don't just call them amazing. They use the phrase horrifying geometrical shapes.
Horrifying, that's a strong word. It's not just art, it's an intrusion.
It is, and it's about the contradiction of it all. I
Mm.
mean, we're talking about things that are huge. Some are reported up to 200 meters in diameter.
That's almost 2 football fields long.
Exactly, and they appear, between one day and the next, within just a few hours, in the dark, with no one seeing a thing. That's the setup. That's what makes this a deep dive.
Right. So our mission here is to really get into the details from our sources to figure out why the really complex ones defy any easy explanation. Are we looking at just incredibly clever hoaxes?
Or is it some bizarre natural phenomenon that science, just hasn't caught up with yet?
Or, and this is where it gets strange, is it evidence of something else entirely? Something intelligent?
And that's the core of it. We have to separate the obvious fakes, the ones someone made with a plank of wood,
Sure, the messy ones.
from the formations that truly challenge our understanding of physics, of engineering, of, well, everything.
Yeah.
If we can't explain how this is done in a few hours, we have to look beyond what we think is possible for a few people in a field.
Okay, so let's start with the physical evidence, because when a photo of one of these goes viral, the first comment is always, oh, it's just flattened plants.
Right.
But when you zoom in on the stalk itself, that's where the simple explanation just completely falls apart.
It really does. It all comes down to the physics of that single plant stalk, specifically how it's bent, not snapped.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, if you or I went out to a field with, I don't know, planks and rope,
Yeah.
the stalks, the wheat or barley, they would break. They'd fracture. It's just their structure.
You'd see creases, it'd be obvious.
Totally obvious. But in the formations that scientists actually study, the crop is described as being bent at a precise angle, sometimes 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But the plant itself, the stalk, is completely intact,
Not broken.
not broken.
That single detail, that changes everything. It suggests the force isn't manual. It's not physical in the way we think of it.
Exactly.
Right.
It implies some kind of rapid, controlled energy, maybe heat, maybe some kind of intense pressure
Yeah.
that makes the plant cell walls just flexible enough to bend without any damage.
So the whole board and rope idea, that's just for the crude imitations then?
That's right. And once you accept that the force isn't manual,
Yeah.
you have to look at the design itself. The engineering involved is just, it's staggering.
We're talking about those 200-meter wide figures.
Yes, figures that have internal patterns, fractals, complex mathematical ratios,
Yeah.
all with perfect symmetry and alignment. The sources say to get that kind of accuracy, you would need the precision of GPS or advanced laser systems.
Okay, let's elaborate on that for a second. What's the real difference between a guy with a rope making a circle and what you're calling GPS precision?
It's about consistency across that massive scale, a single circle. That's, relatively easy.
Sure.
But the really baffling designs have nested shapes, perfect spirals that follow the golden ratio, multiple parallel lines that are perfectly straight for 50 meters, and then meet a curve with zero error
In the dark.
in the dark. For a human team to do that, to manage all the people you need, avoid making noise, and maintain that perfect symmetry without a single mistake, it's just the logistics become almost insurmountable.
So it's not just the precision, it's the precision combined with the speed. You have, what, maybe 4 or 5 hours of total darkness?
At most. And think of the manpower. Say you needed 50 people to cover that area. The challenge of coordinating them silently, in the dark, in just a few hours.
Yeah.
It makes the human hoax theory for these specific complex cases highly, highly improbable.
So the human explanation starts to fail on multiple fronts.
It does. The physical evidence? No breakage. The engineering GPS accuracy? And the time constraint? It's just too fast.
Which means if it's not humans, we have to start taking those other scientific explanations seriously.
Exactly. We have to investigate the alternative forces that the scientific community has been proposing.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Because the logic that science tries to apply, it seems to struggle to fit what's actually happening on the ground.
Well, there are three main scientific ideas that the sources bring up. Each one tries to explain that mechanism, the bending without the breaking.
Okay, so what's theory number 1?
The first one is sudden strikes by focused electromagnetic waves.
Yeah.
like a powerful, targeted pulse of energy.
A microwave from the sky, basically.
Kind of. It's a compelling idea because it provides the energy you'd need. The theory goes that a localized electromagnetic pulse could instantly heat the water inside the plant's nodes, the little joints in the stalk.
And that rapid heating makes it soft, so it just bends over on its own.
Right. It would soften that one point, letting the stalk bend gracefully from its own weight without snapping. So it explains the bending.
But does it explain the shape? I mean, a pulse of energy might flatten an area, but how does it draw a perfect hexagon with spirals inside it?
And that is the problem. Precisely. The logic of a chaotic energy blast just doesn't fit the perfect geometry,
Okay, so that leads us to theory number 2.
which is more meteorological. It's the idea of small but very powerful air vortices, basically tiny, intense tornadoes.
I can picture that. A little whirlwind pressing the crops down in a circle. It's a natural thing.
It is a natural phenomenon, yes. But again, it runs into the control problem. A vortex would flatten a patch, maybe it would leave a rough circle, but it can't explain the deep symmetry, the multiple rings, or the sharp, perfect angles we see.
Chaos doesn't create perfect geometry.
Not usually, no. It doesn't generate perfect Euclidean shapes on demand.
Okay, so what's the third scientific theory?
This one tries to ground it in the soil itself. The idea of a reaction in the earth causing what they call thermal bending.
Thermal bending.
Right. The hypothesis is that some localized event, maybe a sudden release of gas like methane or a quick geothermal heat spot, causes the soil and the air right around the base of the crop to heat up instantly.
So if you heat the very bottom of the stalk, it softens the lowest part, and the whole plant just leans over perfectly.
That's the idea. It links the effect to something you could, in theory, measure in the ground.
But I'm sensing another but coming.
There is. Because the conclusion from the sources, when you look at all three of these logical theories, it's pretty damning.
How so?
While they are all logical ideas for some of the effects, none of them can account for everything at once. The massive scale, the speed, the physical bending, and the complex geometric designs. You can't find one natural phenomenon that explains all the cases.
So the scientific community is basically split. There's no single unifying cause.
Not at all. The evidence is just too contradictory for one simple explanation to fit.
So if it's not a human hoax for the complex ones, and if accepted science can't fully explain it, then we have to shift how we're looking at this.
Right.
We have to move away from thinking about it as random chaos and toward the possibility of, well, deliberate intelligence.
And that's where you get the concept of the encrypted message. The idea that the most complex circles, they feel like they're programmed, not random.
What do you mean by programmed?
They contain these incredibly complex drawings, consistently balanced mathematical shapes, things that are, frankly, impossible to create by accident. We're talking geometric symbols that follow perfect mathematical ratios. Sometimes they even seem to display visualizations of complex formulas.
So we're really moving beyond just pretty patterns in a field. The sources are suggesting these could be coded information.
Absolutely. When you see geometry with deep symmetry, perfect alignment to, say, celestial north, and complex patterns like fractals, it strongly, strongly implies intelligent design.
So many people interpret them as messages.
Or a signature, the signature of an intelligent civilization, leaving behind these symbols that we just don't have the key to decipher yet. It feels like deliberate communication, using math as the language.
Which connects directly to the deepest anomalies. The weird things that happen around the time these things appear. We've established they always show up at night, very quickly, with no one watching. But the reports from the time before the event, that's where it gets truly bizarre.
You're talking about the animals.
Exactly, the local fauna. The sources are full of reports that before the circles appear, farm animals, cows especially, they start to act oddly.
Agitated, distressed.
And they suddenly refuse to go near certain parts of a field, the very spot where the formation is about to materialize.
It's like they're sensing something strange approaching, something disruptive enough to completely change their behavior before any human can see what's happening.
So whatever is creating these things, it isn't silent. It has some kind of signature.
Exactly. Whether it's a reaction to a sound we can't hear, or a powerful electromagnetic field, or something else entirely. The behavior change suggests that this creative force announces its arrival. It has detectable presence that animals are tuned into, even if we aren't.
So when you put all of that together, The evidence forces you, the listener, to face this really difficult choice.
It's a conflict.
It is. You either have to believe in this global silent conspiracy of human artists who operate under impossible conditions, or you believe in natural forces that break their own rules to create perfect geometry.
Or the third option, something else entirely. Something intelligent, technologically advanced, and for whatever reason, very shy about being seen.
So if we try to tie all this together, what's the big picture here? What's the one thing we can say for sure?
I think the single confirmed takeaway is that these phenomena, they just don't follow the accepted rules, not our rules of physics, not our rules of logistics. There are crop circles out there that are simply too precise, too fast, and too complex to be easily explained by either us or by nature as we currently understand it.
So they remain officially a mystery.
A global agricultural mystery, yes.
So what does this all mean then? We have this massive, precise art appearing overnight, plants bent without breaking, scientists who can't agree on a cause. But let's go back to that animal behavior thing for a second.
The livestock refusing to enter the field.
Right. If the animals are sensing this force approaching, if they're reacting to whatever it is that creates these shapes, it means the agent behind this isn't invisible, it has a signature.
A detectable physical presence that comes before the main event.
Exactly. So the final question the sources really leave us with is this. If this force has a signature that is strong enough for a cow to sense its arrival, why can't all of our advanced surveillance, all of our monitoring technology, why can't we detect the act of creation itself?
That's the mystery inside the geometry.
What are we missing? What can they sense that we can't? That's the final mystery.